I was like, yeah,
Oh,
to get me back on track.
all right. Okay,
So,
so I know I messed Karen all up, and I was like, let's do it while we're doing it. All right, so we're back here with Karen again. She's wrapping up her coaching with me on Facebook Live today. We're going to talk about fitness and movement. But Karen, first, I would like for you to just tell us what your experience, like what your life was like prior to coaching with me, what your life was like while we were coaching together, and what your overall experience has been.
okay. Before you contacted me, and you just kind of knew it was like the
Come
spiritual,
on.
when your phone call came, this was my help. This was the help that I needed to get back on track. A lot of things in my life was just totally out of control, spiritually, mentally, physically. I almost just didn't even recognize myself. I took a picture of myself. I did not like
Internet.
physically and mentally. It was you that came in and got me back to the point where I could see a routine every day of spending that time with God, being able to eat right, and being able to just physically take care of myself, put myself first, which was so important. And I found that I have put other people and other things ahead of me, but to love myself and put myself first. And that's what you have done for me to help me to come back to the point of waking up, knowing that God is the head of my life and doing something physically for myself and something mentally for me.
Yeah. And can you hold on? Oh, okay, there we go. And so with that, if someone was, kind of, going through what you're going through, what would be what would be your recommendation? Just basically in a position that you were in before we started coaching, what would be, recommendation or suggestion?
Uh, One of my recommendations, as a matter of fact, that I've had two people that I talked to that has gone through, well, that are currently going through the same thing, and I did mention you, has been to just reach out. I mean, it's okay to
I think we lost Karen there.
So my suggestion would be to reach out to someone like you to help guide them to get back on track. It's okay to be off track, but it's not okay to stay off track. At some point, you've got to be guided back to life and to get things back into perspective. And that's where I'm at now. One day at a time, but it's working. I feel the difference in myself, even when, I mean, I haven't lost 30 pounds, but even just the fact of feeling better and knowing that something's happening and changing physically, mentally, and spiritually, that's a great thing. But it's okay to reach out for help.
Excellent, excellent. I love that. So Karen, what we're going to do now is get us started with oopsie, let me go ahead and move this out the way. Let's see here, Karen. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little review of last week where we talked about nutrition and supplemental care. So just talk to me a little bit about what your successes were, your wins were as far as last weekend, and just be open and transparent what was some of your setbacks, and then we'll talk about how we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this roadmap for you.
Okay. I would say probably, well, of course, the main success for me, even as much as I used to talk about the fact of Weight Watchers, of counting the points, but Weight Watchers has truly just helped me to enjoy anything that I want to eat. You may not be able to sit there and eat, you know, 30 gummy bears, but you know that you can realistically have 5 or 6. When I was telling you at the beginning, I would sit there and eat the whole bag. So preparing my meals, that definitely helped tremendously,
Mhm.
because with me, I only eat turkey and chicken.
Okay.
So having that chicken available, like when I do breakfast, I just actually cook enough chicken strips to last me during the day, because it's 0 points, and if I want it, I can just kind of go get it,
Oh,
and it
good.
kind of fills me up. So I've learned that I've got to, even with Weight Watchers, to expand with the recipes, because I'm just one of those people that get bored with food. I don't like
Mhm.
eating the same thing over and over. So I just have to expand with recipes, and still keep it exciting, because I don't want to get bored. My downfall was probably water. I
Mm.
do still keep the 6 bottles by my computer. By my computer. The last few days, it's probably been 4 bottles, but I still have my concoction of everything. But I want to make sure that water, because it get that water intake, because that water does help me feel like everything's flushing. I just have to be careful on days that I do it. Either I got to do it early in the morning, depending on what meetings I have during the day, and then errands during the day, and then
Mhm.
being able to sleep at night. But um, I would say just making sure I consume the right amount of water has just been the downfall of those three.
Okay. And what about your vitamins?
Oh, that's just been a must for years. Um,
Okay.
Definitely take, I've been taking my vitamins probably over 20, 25 years. So
Mm.
that's just a natural thing for me.
What about the probiotic? Did you add that to your
I do. I did. I
okay.
added it too.
And what was your experience with the probiotic? Have you noticed anything or no, not really?
I have, because I used to eat later at night,
Mm-hmm.
and the indigestion, the acid reflux would be so bad. I couldn't figure out what was happening, because my mouth would actually fill with water. And that's
Mm.
just the acid reflux, all that stuff just coming up. So I've been able to really feel like everything is digesting smoothly. I'm learning to be more regular, because I've have a problem
Mm.
with regularity. The magnesium has helped me with that.
Mm. Okay.
And the water and the green vegetables.
Okay.
So yes, the probiotic has helped.
Okay, good. So let's move on to, you alluded to this last week, and I said, wait, let's wait until next week, because the reason why, we create this roadmap for you, because they compound onto each other. So, essentially the umbrella is the change your behavior, shifting your behavior. And so what does that look like? Okay, really looking at the mindset, where you're at mentally, really working on your mental state before we can get into the nutritional and to the physical state of things. So we want to start mentally first. And so that's what we did. We worked on your confidence. And as I can hear it, you are sounding more confident and you're liking yourself a lot more. And then we moved on to the nutritional aspect of it. So, and there's a reason why, I have that pillar system, and why, we work on the mind first. That's important. And then, because once you work on the mind, then now your mind is set to, now, okay, let's look at how do I take care of myself in a nutritional way and a supplemental way. And so once we get you going in that aspect, the fitness component is just, is just the cherry on top of the cake. And so that's where we're going to go to today, where, what are 3 things that you can do 3 times this week, where, you're adding now the physical component to it. So you're already doing well mentally, you're at the point where you're being successful with the nutritional and supplemental aspect of things. And so now we can now add on to, okay, building upon that, now adding the fitness to it. And so once we add the fitness component to it, then, you'll start to hit those milestones, and you'll start to see you're getting closer and closer to the overall result that you want. So I would love for you to tell me how you plan on moving your body to your own beat this week.
Actually, you know what, Coach? It's just like God just put angels in place. I'm not going to be able to start this until next week, because I actually plan to go home to see my mom. But there's a coworker of mine that she had the surgery,
Mhm.
and she's been wanting someone to come to Planet Fitness to walk with her on the
Mhm.
treadmill, which
Okay.
is 5 minutes from me.
Okay.
And she said, Karen, you can come free. We can talk in the mornings
Mm.
while I'm doing it. So I definitely next week plan. She goes 3 times a week,
Good.
and that will get me, at least that 35 minutes in on the treadmill, and
Mhm.
have someone to hold me accountable.
Yes.
So she's doing well, and then to see her progress, and I'm like, I can do this too, girl. You ain't got nothing on me. But I'm thankful that she thought enough about me
Mm.
to ask me to start walking with her. So that's was one of the things I had mentioned to you in the beginning. Just having someone make me accountable and having a
Mm.
partner. So next
Yeah.
week I'll start doing that 3 times a week with her at Planet Fitness in
Mm.
the morning. So I've always been a morning person, just getting that ritual back like you. I don't know if I could do the running early in the morning, but getting that ritual back of getting up early morning, because that's the first part of the day, and that's the best part of the day.
And and I'm glad, and so I want to stay here just a little bit where, because I'm thinking back to remember how you used to say that you would binge eat, and how we really discovered the reason why you were binge eating was that comfort of food and just having someone, just that comfort. And so now we're looking at, so we looked at that, and so now you have a support system here, which is your friend, your coworker, where, depending on the relationship, you have someone to talk to. And so when you start this, I would love for you to, just report back to me what you've noticed about your binge eating. Has it lessened since you've started this walking with a friend and a coworker? Or, what the status is, or, has it lessened, or has it completely gone away? Because that was one of the things we had dove deep into. Okay, why did you binge eat? And it was more, okay, boredom, watching TV, but no, why? Because of that, that comfort, someone to comfort you at that time. So this is good. Let's move on to two more things that you can do.
And I've started this already every hour, especially since I telework.
Hmm.
Diamond and I get up and we kind of just run and walk around the house for 5 minutes.
Hmm.
And she loves that because she knows she's getting the attention. And so it's like a playtime for her
Oh,
and a
good.
treat time. So it helps both of us.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I literally would sit there some days 6 hours and not move, looking at that computer, looking at this
Yeah.
computer.
Hmm.
But that 5 minute break can make a difference.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, I mean, 5 times 8, that's 40 minutes of some type of activity that I'm doing.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. What else can we do?
I definitely, for me, for those other 4 days from not working with my friend, my job has classes online.
Okay.
So I had started last year doing I had to be really careful with the Zumba, but there's always modifications of it for everything. And so, during my lunch hour, they have classes during lunch or first thing in the morning or after work. I want to do those classes 3 times a week.
Good. Very good. Very good. Well, this is excellent. So let's go ahead and get started with this, at least with the last two this week, which is, every hour you and Diamond, Diamond has her playtime, running, walking around the house. And then, you have your classes online. Definitely let's be proactive about those classes. You want to do it 3 times this week. So you've got, I don't know if the classes also extend into the weekend, but if they do, let's look at, okay, 3 times this week, what day you're going to do the class and what time you're going to do the class. And then also put it on your phone as an appointment. So you want to make sure that you're sticking to that appointment to
Mhm.
yourself. So as you're continuing on with, with the, with the prayer time and the meditation time, spending time with God, you're also, continuing on with, drinking the water, sticking to your points with Weight Watchers, having plenty of greens, fruits, making sure you're having your supplements. And now you're adding the fitness component of it. You're going to start to really experience more of that joy that, maybe you've missed before. And just, you just really use this time to take care of yourself. We've had extensive conversations about that. And so, always a question to always ask yourself whenever you're in a state of despair or you're just not sure or sad, what have you, ask yourself, what's the best thing that I can do right now to take care of myself? And that's really important because we give so much to other people and, other things, but what are we giving to ourselves?
It's true.
Yeah.
And yesterday, one of my good friends, it was her birthday, and she's like a size 18, 16, 18, but this chick wears her clothes. She's got the confidence, and she lost her father almost 2 years ago. And so she was kind of feeling kind of down, depressed. But yesterday she called me and when I called her and wished her happy birthday. She said she was out at the mall and she said, Karen, you know what? She said, I got pretty today. I got up, I put my makeup on. I'm here at Perimeter Mall. She said, I put on clothes. And she said, okay, so what if I got a little bump here? She said, I put a girdle on. She said, girl, I look good today.
I
I said,
noticed.
you know what? I said, you know what? I said the same thing. I said, with this cruise, although I'm working towards a goal, if I don't reach that goal, they got a girdle. They got one of those little things to pull up to make sure my clothes look nice and smooth, because I'm going to be cute. It ain't going to matter if the 10 pounds is still here, but it's going away, but I'm still
Yeah.
going to be cute.
That's right. That's what I do know. Well, now that you mentioned, the girdle and still going to be cute, let's add one more thing just to challenge you just a little bit, just to stretch you a little bit. What else do you think you can do when you're, say, for example, well, you know what, I haven't made a class and I haven't been running around with Diamond. What is that thing that you can do just to keep you continually staying motivated?
I really honestly want to concentrate on my stomach and my arms.
Mm-hmm.
I have weights here, of course, from previous classes with you, but
Yeah.
those are things I'm really uncomfortable with. I've always had a flat stomach, even with the two C-sections, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then the hysterectomy, everything's cut the wrong way. So it's like you just feel like everything is here now, and that's where that stress level goes. So
Mm.
I want to get to the point where where I can just look at myself and say, okay, you can just take 5 minutes now, just go over you looking at TV, get your weights,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and utilize this time. You don't want any dead space.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I want to take advantage of every second that I have. If I'm just sitting here and I'm bored or don't want to do something, I want to take that time and find something active that I can do to help improve myself.
That is good. That's good. So while you're watching, TV, you can be doing some, some stomach and arm activities with the weight. So that is really, really good. So that's that great thing, because when's your cruise?
May the 10th, I'm gone May the 10th through the 23rd.
Okay. And so if it's just 10, so if it's just 10 pounds, that's feasible. Between now and May 10th, that's feasible. 2 pounds a week, that's feasible. If you're
And I'm
looking at
working
this
hard.
week, yeah, just stay focused on that, because if that's your overall goal is to get to those 10, to lose that 10 pounds, then let's look at creating, just little milestones. So say, for example, you're at 160 and you want to be at 150. So for every 2 pounds you lose, find a way to celebrate yourself without food. Find a way to celebrate losing those, 2 pounds, 4 and 6 and 8, until you get that over. And then the cruise can be that overall, celebration of you losing 10 pounds. But in the meantime, find ways to celebrate losing the 2 pounds. How are you going to celebrate your first 2 pounds, your next, and the next, and the next? And so, look at ways of celebrating. It doesn't have to be expensive. It could be whatever it is, as long as it's nothing, as long as it's not food, because then it'll just, it may just mess up the progress that you're making.
I gotta learn how to stay off of Amazon for one thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because this last week and I really got excited about the cruise, and that's what really stepped it up another notch for me. We received the theme nights schedule.
Okay.
And so I'm working on getting everything. Some of the things that, of course, I already have, but the fact of knowing when I walk out for theme night, I want to be feeling good. I don't want I want to have that confidence and strut with it. So I'm excited. The theme night is really going to work for me. Ordered a couple of outfits off of Amazon because I couldn't decide between the two. But once they get here, and try them on, then I'll decide from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just try them on, once a week, try them on once a week just to see how you're progressing, and that could be also a motivation for you. Like, okay, well, all I got to do is, lose this much, or just right here. And it fits right here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is looking good. And so let that be that inspiration. And when you do get those outfits, hang it up on your, hang them up on your door where you're looking at it every single day. Like, for example, I have a vision board. And so for you, that's your vision. When you're looking at those outfits, you're like, wow, you're visualizing what it's like for you. Just like for me, I'm visualizing, the things that I'm experiencing off my vision board. And so that dress or what have you, or that outfit is going to be that vision that you have for yourself on May 10th. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. Very good. Well, we thank you so much, Karen, for being a part of this experience with us on Facebook Live. We look forward to just hearing back from you on, after your cruise, seeing what your results were, and, just seeing how life is going for you.
Thank you so much. And I truly appreciate everything you've done, Coach, your inspiration, and just getting me back on track. Even if I feel like I'm going to go off a little bit, I know I got to get back, because I liked that person 10 years ago, but I just want a better version of her. That's what I want.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you.